4's Company, 1025, 1063 The Game, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier here with you this morning, taking you through the weekend. Going to be a great, great show. We got some hockey to talk about. The Preds are back in action tonight in Bridgestone Arena, taking on the Colorado Avalanche. We got some college basketball action, as always. The SEC is deep as always. Good games today. Alabama, my Wildcats. Tennessee Vols over in College Station, taking on the Texas A&M Aggies. Locally,
sorry, Jake Wallman.
Locally, Vandy.
Might as well get it started early, right?
Yeah, just starting it off hot.
Locally, Vandy taking on Ole Miss here in Memorial. Going to be a good one. But as far as this morning is concerned, we always start off with our headlines. Nick Frazier, how are you this morning?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm upset in the baseball world. Two things. Obviously, ESPN and MLB not re-upping their contract.
Oh, yeah.
That's very unfortunate.
That's all. I got thoughts on that.
Yeah, I remember as a kid growing up watching Sunday Night Baseball or whatever, Monday Night Baseball, whatever it may be, and it was just a blast to watch.
Mm-hmm.
And just the score bugs, the broadcast in general, it was great. And my second thing about baseball, it's really making me mad. It's ruffling my feathers. I'm not a fan of the Yankees, but allowing a beard, a well-trimmed, groomed beard, no, absolutely not. I don't know what the Steinbrenner family's doing. That is unacceptable.
I'm okay with that.
Really?
Yeah, I'm okay with that as well.
I'm okay with that.
What in the world is...
I mean,
Excuse me?
I mean, other teams do it.
Yeah,
So, like,
but it's the New York Yankees. That's the thing. The Yankees have done this as a tradition for 49 years.
Right, I get it.
And the thing is, every single one of the players have abided by that rule. And sure, they've had a mustache here or there, which is fine. A beard, no thanks.
You know who's changed that rule, who came in and said, I'm not doing it.
Who was that?
Former Sound, Devin Williams.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot. The pitcher. Yeah.
He's been pretty adamant. He's not shaving the beard. Then we shaved the beard, and probably the Yankees looked at him and it's like, we'll let you keep.
I don't think a mustache works for you, but
not going to work.
I have another theory about that. I think since Vlad Jr. did not re-up his contract in Toronto, apparently I was looking at some stuff with John Boy Media as well, that he was liking New York Yankee fan pages with his picture in a Yankees uniform. So Vlad Jr. also has a nice, well-trimmed, groomed beard. So that might be something else to look at. I mean, he's not a free agent until the end of November, but just food for thought. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of the whole Yankees with the beard thing. I've just call me a baseball purist at this point. I've adapted to the pitch clock. I've adapted to a lot of other stuff with this baseball transitioning into the new era. But the beard thing, it's got to go.
I'm okay with the beard thing because it's a fashion statement.
It's fair.
It's a modern era. What I'm not okay with is people complaining, when are the Yankees going to put names on the back of their jerseys?
Oh, yeah, no, that'll never happen.
That'll never happen.
I hope it never happens.
There's too many traditionalist teams. The Yankees are one of them. The Red Sox, I think their primary home and away, they don't wear names on the back of their jerseys, which is fine.
Right.
That's great. I love that across all sports. You look at college football, Notre Dame doesn't do it.
Penn State
doesn't do it. There's certain teams that it works for because it keeps that tradition alive. It's an homage to these old teams of old teams of old, but
the players that have passed through the ranks.
These past generations that have come in and been great for our program or our franchise, clubhouse, whatever you want to call it, and won us championships. I'm okay with keeping that tradition alive. Now, going back to your thing on the MLB not re-upping with ESPN, that made me mad.
Yeah.
Because here's why. ESPN, we'll get into this heavily later because I've been so excited to get into this. ESPN has this crazy love affair with the NBA. That's why you didn't see much coverage for the Four Nations from ESPN. Granted, the championship game was on ESPN, but it took a backseat to NBA coverage, it felt like. You're going to see ESPN loves the NBA.
Mm-hmm.
So with them not re-upping with MLB, you're going to lose a lot of baseball coverage, the minimal baseball coverage you were getting. I mean, you get one game a week?
Yeah.
That's
maybe two
at best, which is ridiculous. But now it's going to be NBA Sunday night or whatever. Tune into the summer league. No one cares. And we'll get into this more later because I have thoughts on the NBA.
Right.
And I want to spend a decent amount of time on the NBA.
Please.
But I'm with you. That's ridiculous. Now, if I'm the MLB, my first call is going to be to Fox Sports.
Really?
Mm.
I was thinking elsewhere. I was thinking Prime.
Oh.
Call Amazon.
Yeah.
I feel like Amazon could rule the baseball world.
Yeah. I didn't even think about streaming services.
Because I feel like that's where it's headed to. If you look at the NFL, especially with Thursday Night Football, they hire this marquee group of Al Michaels, Kirk Herbstreit, Carissa Thompson, Tony Gonzalez, and so forth, Ryan Fitzpatrick, all the greats. They're don't get me wrong, they're all players, former players. Yeah, maybe some media training for them might be beneficial, but baseball, especially with ESPN, they have so many well-versed, I guess, analysts, well-versed media members, journalists. You could conglomerate all of those guys into one broadcast. It'd be awesome.
That's a good point. I did not think about streaming. Now, I think Netflix is going all in on the NFL.
Oh, yeah.
I could see a world where, Thursday Night Football heads to the NFL. But I think you're right. And these streaming services are starting to dip their toes into sports coverage. Peacock I think they were kind of the first ones to do it with, college basketball showing up, the occasional NFL game.
Mm-hmm.
NASCAR, I think, is on there. Chase would have to correct me on that. I'm sure I'm wrong. But Netflix is kind of taking over now. You got the NFL on Christmas Day, which was a massive hit, blew NBA out of the water.
Mm-hmm.
Now Netflix has Monday Night Raw. Not sports, but sports entertainment.
It's still sports.
And its reviews are wild. Like, ratings are sky high for World Wrestling. But I don't know. I could totally see Prime taking over baseball. I could see him getting into hockey too.
I would love to see it. I mean, there's something about the Thursday Night Football broadcast that has attracted me to thinking, yeah, I really want to watch Thursday Night Football. They do a really good job selling that broadcast.
Yeah.
And I think if they can do that same model with baseball, or if it's hockey, or whatever sport it may be, I think they could be a huge home run. Pun intended.
Pun intended.
Yeah.
There you go.
So,
yeah, certainly issues in the I wouldn't say issues for the MLB. I'd say issues for ESPN, because that's pun intended. That's a strikeout.
And also
ESPN.
too, it makes me think in the back of my head with the TNT show with Shaq and Charles and the Jet, and
where they're going though.
Yeah, it's going to ESPN.
As Nevada Josh just texted on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, ESPNBA.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Not wrong. That's pretty good. I
That's
like the
pretty
little
good.
play on letters there. But that's what they're probably doing, is they're probably cutting out the ESPN contract, the MLB, and giving it to those guys.
Yeah,
and that because they got to make room for all that.
Although I'm not a fan of the NBA. I love those four.
Yeah,
they make it watchable. My dream scenario: give those four college game day on basketball.
I would not be opposed to that.
I would watch every episode.
The issue is I feel like their show inside the NBA, I have a weird feeling ESPN's going to pay them buku money and backlog them onto ESPN Plus broadcast, and you're not going to see all that because they're probably thinking, oh, the unfiltered inside the NBA is hilarious. This would be a great thing to put on ESPN.
Well, that's
Plus.
what they do to Pat McAfee.
Yeah.
You get, what is he on, 11 to 2?
Yeah, something like that, give or take.
And then he goes off the air for another 2 hours over on YouTube. And that's better than the actual show because it's.
Yeah. I mean, that's what made him popular. Everybody tuned into his radio show. And then on top of that, tuned into his YouTube broadcast. And everybody loved it because it was all unfiltered.
Unnamed texter says Apple TV already has MLB games. That's pretty limited, though.
Yeah,
right?
it's limited. It's Friday nights.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's sometimes they do a Apple TV doubleheader. So they have 2 games, you can watch them. I know I have the MLB package where I pay for all the games, and it still doesn't allow me to use Apple TV to watch this.
Wow.
So, and I don't have Apple TV, so I have to literally listen to those on the radio broadcast on the app. So,
see, I can't watch my team, the Cardinals, unless it's a national broadcast.
We'll fix that.
We'll fix it.
Yeah, we'll fix that this year for you.
It may be illegal, but we'll fix
it.
it.
No, it's legal. It's legal.
Jake Wallman, good morning, sir.
Good morning, gentlemen.
I feel bad because I didn't mention you.
No, it's
early
cool.
On, but
it's cool.
What is your headline this morning?
So I was driving in this morning and I heard an interesting comment from Gary Bettman that I'm going to play for you guys.
I thought you were going to say Booker T. I was on board.
No. It was Gary Bettman on winning the Four Nations versus winning the Stanley Cup.
Mm.
Oh, hold on one second.
Gary Bettman.
If you're a professional hockey player, while you love to represent your country and the pride that's involved in that, there's no greater trophy in any sport, and there's no greater, harder trophy to win, championship to win, than the Stanley Cup. And no matter where you're from, I think with the world's best hockey players playing in the NHL, ultimately it's about the Stanley Cup on a regular basis.
Respectfully, I think I have to disagree with this comment. Just from watching the Four Nations and watching the best on best, I get that you will see the best on best at least once in the NHL, maybe twice, right? Just the way the schedules line up.
Yeah.
But I mean, you're seeing the best on best for, what is it, like 2 games at least in the Four Nations? Because I think the
round
US,
robin.
Yeah, the US only played Sweden once.
Yeah.
So, and you saw how hard it was for the US to beat Canada that second time around. So I think when you're facing best on best like this in a round robin, it's a lot harder to come away with 2 wins over the same team.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. But when you say best on best, I don't think best team on best team. I think best lineup on best lineup.
That's fair.
And I'd argue in the NHL, it's best on best every night, because unlike the NBA, which we'll get into later, there's no load management in the NHL. Guys aren't going out there and resting just for the hell of it.
No.
Look at the Preds. Preds are at the bottom of the standings right now. Are they resting Steven Stamkos because, hey, we want a higher draft pick? Nah, they're sending everyone out there. They're still fighting.
Well, and that's another great thing about the NHL that we will, as we get into the show more, guys will play hurt for like month, 2 months at a time.
Oh, yeah. Look at Matthew Tkachuk.
Right.
Matthew Tkachuk was hurt going into that game, and he didn't finish the game, obviously, but in the Four Nations Championship, he's out there playing.
I mean, how many NBA guys play hurt?
LeBron just sat out his All-Star game because his ankle was sore.
Yeah, we'll talk about that later.
That's ridiculous. As far as my headline, Nick Frazier, you heard me watching it before the show. Guess who's back in the industry?
Is that who I think it is?
The
Dwayne?
final boss
Yes,
has
sir.
returned to WWE television. It was an interesting promo. He announced WrestleMania is coming to New Orleans next year. They were in New Orleans last night for SmackDown.
Okay.
Then he's starting this beef with Cody Rhodes. He's thinking, basically, he wants Cody Rhodes to sell out, become a heel.
Oh,
work for him. I think, and I'm going to go out and say it, I got something in the works coming up on the Game Nashville Sports Network.
Do you now?
As far as wrestling.
Oh.
I'm not going to fully say what it is right now because I haven't recorded anything, but
it's a parking lot brawl. I'll be darned.
It's a park. Yeah.
We meet in the parking lot at Ruby Tuesday.
Yeah,
or Arby's.
Well, Big Joe's out in the parking lot right now setting up the ropes. We're tussling after this show.
Love it.
I think this is setting up Rock and Roman at WrestleMania, which is the biggest dream match of all time. But we'll see. Sorry to go off on I know we were having some serious conversations with
this
your
is
two
great.
headlines. I'm just juiced. It's WrestleMania season. I'm excited. Jake Wallman, you're in charge of our question of the day today. Do you have anything?
So in my second job outside of the station,
Bob's Bugs Be Gone.
Yeah. I have a lot of time on my hands to think of questions of the day. And with the inclement weather in the area this past week, it got me thinking, what is something that people do in everyday life that really just grinds your gears? With the way that, the drivers are in the mid-state when weather comes through. I mean, they just lose their minds.
Are you talking in general or just when inclement weather?
In general.
Okay.
Like, what is something that people do that, like, you see on the daily basis?
Oh, I got some stuff.
And you're just like, oh my goodness.
I got some stuff.
Makes you just irk.
That's a great question.
Give a little tease to my answer. Use a turn signal, people.
Yeah.
Jeez.
You guys inspired me the other day. We were talking about flipping people off. I never do it. I did it the other day because this guy, I mean, 24 is an absolute mess. Like maybe the worst road in America.
Dumpster fire.
I'm driving. This worker van just sneaks up on me right in front of my lane. I got to slam on my brakes. I'm laying on the horn. Throwing. I'm one of those that talks to myself. There you go. Great job, buddy. Yeah.
All the time.
I'm one of those. So shout out to Chase and Joe. I mean, that was directly inspired by them. We got a great show today. I sound like Saturday Night Live. Yeah, the Foo Fighters are here. Well, we do have a great show today. Coming up next, though, we're going to get into the Titans. Got lots of time to talk about the Titans and the number 1 pick with the draft in a couple of months. But there's a question on this station I don't think has been fully answered yet. Could a QB in this draft actually change the trajectory of the Titans? If the Titans were to take Cam Ward, Shedeur Sanders, could it change the direction of the franchise? That's up next. 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Forest Company brought to you by LPL Financial Nashville and Patrick Conger. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier here with you. Jake Wallman playing the tunes behind the glass. Hey, tune in to 93.3 FM. Totally Hits Nashville today for MTSU men's basketball. The Blue Raiders take on Nick Frazier's guy, Sam Houston State, at the Murphy Center. Tip-off is at 2 p.m. with pregame beginning at 1:30 p.m. Coverage also available on the Totally Hits Nashville app and at totallyhitsnashville.com. Welcome back in. As I mentioned, heading into the break, I want to talk a little Titans. And I want to answer a question that hasn't really been, it's been hit around, but I don't think anyone's given a definitive answer on this. Could a quarterback in this draft really change the trajectory of the Titans? Titans obviously have the number 1 pick. Jake Lyman has said this before. It's probably quarterback or bust in this draft. If the Titans were to draft Cam Ward or Shedeur Sanders, smoke is leaning towards Cam Ward. Would it actually change everything for the Titans like it tends to point out to?
I know maybe's not a great answer, but that's kind of, I'm leaning like maybe yes. I think if Cam Ward is the draft pick the Titans do go with, you and Jake Lyman have kind of leaned me into thinking, yeah, maybe Cam Ward is a decent quarterback, you know?
I was not on the train.
Yeah, neither I'm still not on the train, but
I'm not either.
I'm leaning that way. You know what I'm saying?
Lyman, what was it, last week, said go watch the Pop-Tarts Bowl highlights. I listened to him, I watched it, and I thought, this guy might have something. Now, I've said this before, no matter what quarterback you draft, you're committing to Brian Callahan too.
Mm-hmm.
You want your quarterback guru, head coach, supposedly, to develop a quarterback, that's a 2 to 3 year project.
Yeah.
You got to commit to him. Now, what they're going to do, things go south, Brian Callahan's gone. He's coaching for his job this year, whether we like it or not. So I don't know. Would it be a risk to draft a quarterback?
100%. I think if Brian Callahan wants to keep his job, Titans need to trade back and grab Abdul Carter.
That's what the next point I was going to say. Would Abdul Carter be a reach at 1?
Yes.
I think so too. There's a collective group of people out there that say he is the best well-rounded player in this draft. I don't disagree. But here's the thing. The Titans, they got a lot of holes. Defensive end is probably like number 5 on that list. You need a quarterback. You need right tackle is probably number 1.
Yeah.
Quarterback. I would get a young receiver to go with your quarterback. You need a linebacker. Harold Landry can't be the only one hitting the quarterback, and hell, he may get bought out here soon.
Yeah, you make a good point about Harold Landry. Earlier this week, when I was on with Chase and Big Joe, I mentioned something that I prefaced last year after the Miami week or before the Miami week about the possibility of trading or just shopping the idea of Jeffrey Simmons and also Harold Landry. I think if you look at those two guys, you're able to kind of get a gauge on what the market is for those perennial, I guess. I wouldn't call Harold Landry a core pillar to somebody's roster because he's up there in age, but he's that extra piece to a Super Bowl roster if there is a team out there that wants him.
That's why I thought he was going to get flipped to Detroit at the deadline.
Right.
There was a lot of smoke towards that. I don't know. Part of me is like, yes, do it. Get some cap space, bring in some other pieces. But then I think Harold Landry is a guy, one of the few guys on this team I can say is a key player.
Mm-hmm.
One of the few guys that I think is helping contribute towards the goal that I know Amy Adams Strunk wants in selling tickets to that stadium. You want that stadium open, I think Harold Landry's on your roster. I think people, not that he's to use a wrestling term, not that he's a draw, but I think that's one of the few guys I can say on this team has something going forward. Jeffrey Simmons is one of those, which I'm with you. I'd be okay with trading him.
Yeah. As much as I'm a Mississippi State fan, it might just sound terrible to say, but like you have to start shopping a guy like that.
As you say.
Because I feel like the Titans signed Jeffrey Simmons to that contract based off potential.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I'm kind of leaning towards what somebody said previously, it's when you sign a guy to potential, you're not seeing the actual value of him, and then you'll never really see that true value. And then when he goes to another team on a smaller deal, he's already got his money. He can go ball out if he wants to.
The Titans are not the best at thinking 20 steps ahead.
Yeah.
They act as of right now. Look at A.J. Brown.
All reactionary.
All reactionary. A.J. Brown demands money, which honestly they could have easily paid him.
Yeah.
Nah, sorry, we're good. Then we're going to draft his replacement, which, by the way, Joe Rexrode taught me the other day that if the Titans want to save salary cap, cut Traylon Burks. Guess how much you're saving?
I don't know.
0.
Oh, wow. Bummer.
Yeah, he wrote an article about it.
Saving 0.
Saving 0. Get absolutely
basically
nothing.
saving an egg.
I'd be okay with cutting Traylon Burks.
So it's gonna happen.
You could, he could pay me, and
yeah,
I'd be okay with cutting him.
Back to your initial point though about Callahan and his job security. When it does come to a draft pick like a Cam Ward or an Abdul Carter, I mean, if you do draft Cam Ward with number 1 overall, that is definitely your clock is ticking quicker rather than unfortunately, and like I'm leaning in the direction of Cam Ward is not a bad QB.
I think I flipped in a way. I was all on Shedeur. I was like, okay, he's the best quarterback in this draft. He's ready. I think Cam Ward's more of a project than Shedeur.
Right.
But I think the upside is immensely more than Shedeur has.
Yeah. My concern with Shedeur is the sacks, and I've mentioned it before, and I've talked to even like TD about it. He goes like, what's one logical reason that you'd be concerned about Shedeur Sanders? I'm like, listen, this Titans offensive line can't block to save their life. There's going to be sacks left and right. And what's the same thing with Colorado? He had like 42 sacks as the Colorado's quarterback. So like, that's my biggest concern. He goes, bingo. There's a massive concern that somebody's actually giving me. I'm like, you're welcome. Like that, I'm not saying you're welcome. Like,
you're welcome.
No, just like he goes, thanks for giving me a concern. Like, because everybody that tries to clarify that, Shedeur is not the right guy for the Titans. Like, why?
Well, his attitude is bad. I don't care about attitude right now.
Right. And
we're not drafting based on attitude.
Right.
If we were drafting on attitude, you'd have a bunch of nice guys. Then you'd be even softer.
Yeah, it's like a roster full of SpongeBobs. You don't want that. You really don't. You don't want a roster full of SpongeBobs. The squeaky clean, smiley guys. You don't want that. You want a little grit to grind. You know what I'm talking about?
You need an enforcer. You need a goon out there. It's like hockey. Every hockey team has a goon. For the Predators, I think they have a few.
Yeah.
Now I'm trying to think of who they are.
Last year was Jeremy Lauzon.
Jeremy Lauzon. I think he's gone now.
I just hurt, I believe. Yeah.
Oh, he's hurt. Yeah. There's been so many. Like, it's been hard for me to keep up with how bad they've been. And
there's just been a lot of transitioning for sure.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
I want to say one thing before we go to break about the Titans, and it's this. Cam Ward and his decision not to play that last drive in the, I think, Pop-Tarts Bowl. For me, a lot of people are saying, especially like scouts and just podcasts that I've listened to, it's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. If I'm a team that has a number 1 overall pick, I'm turning over every single rock, stone, whatever it is, to know why you didn't play that last drive. Because more than likely, the way he was playing, he was running hot. Yep. So, I mean, you could have easily won that game for your team. I just want to know that. Is it a leadership thing? Is it something else going on? Were you worried about your draft status? That's my concern. Did
you see the interaction between Shedeur and Cam Ward? Shedeur, I guess this was at the Senior Bowl or something, or they're working out together.
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur went to Cam Ward. You failed your team. You gave up on them. Shedeur or Cam Ward goes, well, you got blown out by BYU, so you failed your team. It was awesome.
And yeah, he's not wrong because Colorado had everybody playing.
I mean, I'm okay with a little trash talk right now. I'm okay with a little bit of sizzle.
Yeah, it builds up the hype for the draft for sure. I'm pumped about it.
Real quick before we go to break, Trey in Antioch wants to weigh in on the Titans. Trey, what is up, my man?
Hey, how you doing, guys?
Doing well.
Hey, I just, I listen to y'all a lot. Y'all know me, and I've been saying this a long time. I don't trust either one of those young quarterbacks. For one, I don't believe that their competition was up to par in their college career. And from what I've been hearing from y'all and from other people, I wouldn't do it. I would trade back. And I would get 4 or 5 decent players, for the offense and for the defense. Because, look, you have to understand, they've already spent $400 million on the team, really, in personnel and players, and have nothing to show for it. You got to recoup some of that back. And y'all have a good Saturday, guys. And thank you.
Thank you, Trey. He made a good point there. The thing I was hooked on was neither quarterback has had tough competition in college.
Yeah, it's fair.
But then I think the SEC, is there a quarterback out there that you would take over these two?
No,
I don't think so.
like everybody thought Carson Beck was the Cinderella pick before the season began, and
He's a 3rd round, 4th round guy. It looks like.
look how that's turned out. He's actually going to Miami.
Yeah,
to
he's
play
going to
football.
Miami.
So we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah.
There's really not a definitive quarterback top prospect in this draft.
Everyone talks about Jackson Dart as the darling that's going to jump up, kind of the Bo Nix of this draft. That's going to jump up to the top 10. I think there's upside to him. I don't think he's just this beautiful prospect. I think he's kind of a, Derek Carr.
Yeah.
The arm strength's there. The talent's there, but I don't know. I don't think he's supremely talented over any other prospect.
He reminds me a lot of Will Levis. I don't want to tease it. I'll just get to it now because we go to break. He reminds me a lot of Will Levis. The decision making when it comes to throwing the ball, the turnovers. We saw it in the Kentucky Ole Miss game. Just couldn't get over the hump there.
Yeah.
The decision making was ridiculous to me. I mean, obviously, it was raining and so forth, but come on now. Like, if you want to be a perennial quarterback in the NFL, you got to make those adjustments.
Yeah.
Your last year in college to stand out.
Yeah. Certainly a lot of questions heading into the Titans. A lot of questions heading into college hoops coming up next. We got some big time matchups to break down. Plus, looking forward in the big picture thing, how many of these teams get into March? That's up next. 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Oh, yes. Bob Seger, baby. I love it. Hey, Nashville's best deal of the week is from Bavarian Beer House, located at Opry Mills Mall. Enjoy traditional German beer, brats, giant pretzels, brats, not brats. Brats, giant pretzels, and more in their expansive beer hall and garden. Head to theGameNashville.com/deals and get half off a $50 gift card while supplies last. 4's Company, Connor Newt with Nick Frazier.
Good morning. Stadium Pulse.
Good morning. Brats. Can you tell I've been to Bavarian Beer House before?
Yeah, maybe once or twice.
Never.
No.
Never in my life. I've never had German food.
I know it's like 9:30, but brats do sound pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm a
Listen, all right. I understand my text messages at 6:45 in the morning talking about Little Caesars pizza does sound good.
oh,
I can't help myself. Okay.
every time you talk about Little Caesars.
Sometimes my palate craves food. I can't help it. I wake up wanting something to eat.
You are our Joey Tribbiani.
Yes.
That's what you are.
That's what a lot of people
That's
say.
perfect.
I appreciate
He
that.
is our
I never realized that.
He is our Joey.
Wow.
You're both Italian.
Yeah. How you doing?
You like food.
How you doing?
How you doing?
Yeah. How you doing?
Both ladies, men.
But you know who is a basketball man? This guy across the table. Connor.
He is.
This guy. We got some basketball today, folks.
Good basketball.
Good basketball. Locally, we'll start there because the Commodores are having themselves a good season.
Mhm.
I love Mark Byington. And that's kind of weird for me to say because there's been very few Vanderbilt coaches I've looked at and been, he's a good coach. Bryce Drew, I thought, was all right, except for his one season that got him canned.
Yeah.
But I think he's turned out okay. Jerry Stackhouse, I hated. I think a lot of people hated. I know Jared hated him. But
Great suits, though. Guy had great suits.
he dressed to the nines. I mean, those shoes were impeccable. When I went, every time I was looking at his shoes. More interesting than his team's. But there's something different about Mark Byington. I think he is one of the, like Mark Pope, he knows how to make an adjustment, which is kind of key to being a college coach today.
Yeah.
Is making adjustments. He's played, especially at home with that Memorial Magic that usually involves a whistle or two. He's played these top teams decently well.
Yeah.
Played Auburn well. Beat Kentucky at home. Beat Tennessee at home.
Played him pretty good on the road. Can't deny
Played
that.
him tough on the road. Had a 16-point lead at one point, and then I think Tennessee's talent just took over, but got blown out in Rupp Arena to a Kentucky team missing 3 key players.
Shows the depth in Kentucky's lineup.
Shows depth. But I think if you were to ask me today, is Vanderbilt making it to the big dance? I would put a lot of money on saying yes.
Really?
I think so. Looking at the projected bracketology, as they call it, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 SEC teams on the bowl. Those are Texas is the last 4 in, or last 4 buys. I don't really understand the last 4 buys. There are no buys in the NCAA tournament. Vanderbilt and Arkansas are in the last 4 in. Oklahoma and Georgia first 4 out.
The last 4 buys are those teams that don't play in Dayton. They're like the 11 seed, but they don't play in Dayton. They play the first.
So they're in.
They're in, but
They don't have to do the play-in.
they don't have to do the play-in.
Gotcha.
They're usually an 11 seed.
Okay.
Okay.
That's
I think I got that right.
I think you're right.
That
That
makes
sounds
sense
right.
because all those are Power 4 teams. Normally, you're a group of 5 teams that have to do the play-ins to make the extra seed.
Every now and then you'll see a Power 5 team or Power 4 team in a play-in game.
Yeah,
I remember Tennessee was
Michigan State was in one a couple of years ago.
in one in 2014.
and I think that's more off strength of schedule. I have to.
I
take
think
an
there was
educated
one
guess.
year it was Indiana played someone
Mhm.
for the 11 seed. I can't remember.
Wow.
But
What you're saying though about SEC teams?
SEC teams are deep. Another matchup today, Tennessee A&M, big time. A&M just got embarrassed by your Bulldogs. I think they're coming in back to College Station a little pissed off.
Mhm.
Granted, based on how Tennessee plays on the road, I
Mhm.
think I would lean towards the Aggies a little bit.
Yeah, get that towards that oil money. I'll tell you that.
The oil money,
Yeah,
the Aggie land.
I'll say Texas A&M is one of those teams. It reminded me a little bit of Alabama. You catch them on the right day, you could beat them pretty good. That's kind of what Mississippi State did.
That's the thing about the SEC. To Carl Ravage's point, any team can win on any given night unless your name is South Carolina.
Yeah.
You're not going to win. Or LSU unless you play Arkansas.
Not wrong.
I think I told you during the break, I think 10 teams are getting in SEC-wise.
And that's a lot.
That's a lot. I think it would be obviously Auburn's getting in, Alabama's getting in, Tennessee's getting in. I think A&M's getting in, Kentucky is getting in. That's 4. Is that 4 or 5? 5.
If I count correctly. Math was not great.
Vanderbilt's getting in. Now I'm blanking on
Mississippi State's going to get in.
Mississippi State, Florida,
Ole Miss.
A&M.
I said A&M.
Okay.
Do you think Arkansas gets in?
I think they get in on the bubble.
See, that's what we were talking about in the break. I'm leaning towards no.
If
Missouri.
If I had
Yeah,
to say
can't forget that.
today, I think Arkansas is like a 1 or 2 seed NIT team.
Yeah. I think they're either going to get in on the bubble or just miss the cusp.
Yeah.
I would love to see them get in because the latest projection I saw, Kentucky would play as the 5 seed. They would play Chattanooga. Or was it 4 seed? Regardless, they play Chattanooga. On the other end, you would have Arkansas and VCU play on the bubble to get in. Winner would play Louisville. So it would be, assuming Kentucky beats Chattanooga, it would be Kentucky versus either Arkansas or Louisville in the first round of the second round of the NCAA tournament for a shot to go to the Sweet
Do you know
16.
what part of the bracket that was where they would play their first round games?
It is the South region in Atlanta.
Okay.
Kentucky would be the 3 seed taking on 14 Chattanooga. Louisville would be the 6 taking on either 11 Arkansas or 11 VCU. That would be the South region. Auburn would be the 1 seed. Gonzaga in that region.
Ooh,
Michigan State.
that's a interesting region. Looking at
Memphis,
that little spot there.
Houston. That's a good region. I'm trying to find where Tennessee would be.
Now, don't forget about Michigan State. I'm not just saying this because Joe Rexrod's a Michigan State guy. Or
you know what John Rothstein says? January, February, Izzo.
Yeah.
Even though Tom Izzo has won one national championship in
But they've
20 years.
quietly been taking care of business this season.
They took care of business last night, walking into Ann Arbor, taking down number 12 Michigan.
I mean, to me, I'm looking at like anybody can win in March Madness, obviously so, but there's got to be 1 or 2, I'd say, top perennial teams that are on the radar. And like everybody's saying, yeah, Duke or the field. No, I think Michigan State's one of those under the radar top teams that is playing good basketball that could win it all.
Here you go, Wallman. Tennessee is projected in the East region in Newark. Duke is the 1 seed. Creighton in that region.
Eek.
Texas.
I don't like that.
Missouri, Purdue, Vanderbilt on the bubble, Tennessee, West Virginia, St. Mary's. That's a tough region.
That is a tough region, but if Tennessee were to get matched up in a game with Purdue, I want a piece of Purdue.
I know you do.
I want a piece of
I know
Purdue
you
after
do.
last year.
I can't help but laugh. Do you think Tennessee's going to make a deep run, Bub?
I think they could. I genuinely think they could if the right team shows up.
I don't know, dog. I think
When I saw the topics this morning and on the show grid, it was listed, who are the fraudulent teams? I said, I know Nick Fraser wrote this grid.
I did.
I
this.
promise I didn't.
I did everything.
Connor Newton did it. I didn't.
I did.
But I
this.
said,
I looked at it.
I said, I know Nick Fraser's got something to say.
They're fraudulent. I'm gonna say they're fraudulent.
If the right team shows up, they can beat anybody on the floor.
I also want credit where credit is due. I was the first one to say Canada has no SEC championships.
Yep.
Our friend Brandon Aldridge took that, copied my homework.
Did he really?
Yes. He said, well, Canada hasn't won a World Baseball Classic.
Let's give this man his flowers.
I'm mad.
I am on
And then this lady blew up for saying it. That's
Seriously.
like getting reposted. I had this first.
Connor Newton.
You got to get those screenshots out there.
Yeah, I do.
Get your receipts out
I'm
there.
sending cease and desist to everyone.
There you go.
Making money off of this.
There you go.
You know,
Just real quick about Tennessee. I was speaking to somebody last night, diehard Tennessee fan, diehard. And I was like, listen, man, like I got to know your honest truth. He's been a fan for over probably 15 to 20 years. All right. Is Tennessee a top perennial team? He goes, listen, They're just so streaky. I can't be on the boat of saying they'll make the Elite Eight. He said I can't do it.
I think they're a solid Sweet 16 team.
Yeah, and that's the thing is Tennessee fans want more than that. I know they do. Deep down in their heart thinking, yeah, this team, it's football. This is our year.
I'm dying for it.
Everybody, you're yearning for it. You want it. It's just not going to happen. That's what I'm saying. You need to look at the Braves.
Because at some point, they actually have their first spring training game today.
Do they?
They do.
Oh, man, you better DVR
You better
that.
be all over that.
DVR
Well, I
it.
would.
Make a whole,
I would.
make a day out of it.
You know,
Hey, it's free on the app,
if they ponied up,
yeah,
I'm going to have to listen to 680 The Fan out of Atlanta.
I don't know, maybe so.
But anyways,
You know it is free to the public,
What is that?
and then it will make money one day
What is that?
once it gets sponsored. Newt's Notes,
Yes.
hosted by me,
Thank you for saying that.
which is going to be weird because I'm going to introduce my own segment. But Newt's Notes coming up next on 4's Company, 1025, 1063 The Game. Every time I hear this, I just want to get up on a turnbuckle and hit that pose with the golden shower behind me.
The pyrotechnics.
Pyrotechnics, not the other kind. 4's Company, back with you.
We're back.
We're back.
You know
Hey,
what else is back? This guy, Connor Newt for Newt's Notes.
Yeah, but first we got to tell you to tune into Sports Talk 830 tomorrow for coverage of the NASCAR Series Cup race and Better Health 400. Coverage begins at 1 p.m. and the race starts at 2 p.m. Love having NASCAR here on our airwaves. Ka-chow, the greatest movie of all time. I got something that's been irking me, and I really don't like to go off on these non-sports rants with this segment, but this one's driving me crazy. Music today is awful. It's really bad.
Not wrong.
I was just scrolling through TikTok the other day, and everyone's talking about this Tate McRae album. If you don't know who Tate McRae is, she's this
she's the hockey all-star.
She's hockey all-star, Canadian pop star.
Okay.
Robin Sparkles. I gave it a listen because one of my friends that I'm speaking to is a massive fan of hers. I was like, okay, I'll check this out. I listened to that whole thing. I wanted to rip my ears out. And I'm like, is this what we have come to today? It's just auto-tuned garbage. And I like some of today's modern music. I love today's country. I love Morgan Wallen. I love Luke Combs. I love Cody Johnson. But this pop garbage that's all computer generated, no talent, auto-tune, no real instruments. It's awful. Oh my God. And I'm someone who loves old music. I love, I talked about it last week with our question today. I love Def Leppard.
Yeah.
I love 80s hair band rock. I love 80s music. I love 90s music, 90s country. But today, I can't even begin to explain how bad it is.
I'll say the only person that gets auto-tune, I guess, a pass, T-Pain. That's it.
T-Pain's all right. I'm not a huge rap guy.
Okay.
If I'm in the gym, I'll throw it on because I need the energy.
Yeah.
I like Travis Scott. I like guys like that.
It's fair.
But like if I'm just sitting, and these songs are horribly written too. It's all, it's about, stuff we can't talk about because that's what society is today. But these are all horribly written. Like it's the same refrain over and over again. Touch me, squeeze me, stuff like that. I'm like, come on, man. Like,
can we have a little more substance?
We're past the golden era of music.
Well, you know what? Everybody nowadays wants to put their own spin on the old music.
That's another thing.
The rendition of whatever song it is. Like it's probably, I think Dua Lipa's had this issue where she has a lot of the old tunes or the background music instrumentals to old songs, and then she puts her own, lyrics to it, and it's just like, wait a minute, that sounds like a song that we've heard before.
Well, sports runs away with this too. Listen to the SEC on ABC. They play that "I Want to Get Away," but it's like a rap remix.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's a Lenny Kravitz song from the 80s, and that song's awesome.
Yeah,
the remix with, I think it's Quavo on there.
Really?
What are we listening to? Like, what is this?
You make a good point right there, Connor. I feel like today's music is just made for, I guess, promos. If that sounds right. Like
they're corporate sellouts.
Yeah, they're made for sports promos. They're made for event promos. It doesn't have to be sports, but just event promos. That's all that music's there for. You're absolutely hitting the nail on the head here.
Listen, if you love it, good on you, man.
Sure.
That's your stuff. It's geared towards this weird new generation that loves horrible nails on a chalkboard music. I don't get it. Maybe I'm an old man. Old man yells at cloud.
It's okay.
David likes to call me that all the time. Friend David Janes, DVD producer. Yeah. He likes to call me old man yells at cloud. I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
I
think clouds are cool.
I like clouds. God gave us clouds.
Yep.
What day did God create the sky? Was it day 1, 2,
4?
Break out Genesis.
Yeah.
Let's read it.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and look.
The Catholic education is coming in.
It's somewhere.
Right,
yeah.
It's coming in. But we didn't have a lot of time. So I was like, I'll just rant about music. Alex from National on our text line says, amen. Today's music sucks. I'm y'all's age and I can't stand it. Look at that. We're attracting our target audience.
Shout out to Alex. Appreciate that, man.
Thank you, Alex.
Got good taste.
Yeah.
I'm with you though. The '80s hair band rock is where it's at.
I mean, even '90s country. Like I love George Strait,
Yes.
Alan Jackson.
See, there's a song by Cody Johnson called "Dirt Cheap." If you
I
actually,
just listened to that this morning.
bingo. If you listen to those lyrics, it is absolute.
It's a
poetry.
story.
It is.
It's a story. It's a sad song.
You're taken along for a ride of emotions, and it's incredible.
That's what I love about Cody Johnson. I heard you guys talking about this. Was it yesterday?
Yeah.
Cody Johnson is like a love letter to those old '90s country artists.
He is.
I would have loved to have been at that concert. He brought out Luke Combs. Were you there for Luke Combs?
I was.
Oh,
yeah.
Because I remember you complaining, I want to go to the Friday show. And
Yeah.
you didn't.
Because I had a feeling like maybe somebody else is going to be out there Friday night. Nah, Saturday night lived up to the hype. I was like,
Was Carrie there Saturday too?
Carrie Underwood was there.
Oh, they sang their song.
Ian Musnick was there as well to perform "Long Live Cowgirl," I believe. You know that song that he has that he's like mixed with. You know, "Long Live Cowgirl." You know that.
I'm not familiar.
Okay, well,
I
I'll
was
play it for
thinking
you in the break.
Morgan Wallen.
Nah, I'll play it for you in the break. But yeah, Carrie Underwood was there, and then to top it all off at the very end, Luke Combs.
Long neck.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly what they played.
Oh,
it was incredible.
I would love that.
So
I'm jealous of you.
I've seen Luke Combs twice now in concert.
Yeah. Once on accident.
Yeah, once on accident. Surprise, surprise.
That's okay. Hey, I mean, there's good music today.
Sure.
That stuff's good.
You just have to skip through the weeds.
Yeah. It's gems. Got to find them. Coming up next, Jake Wallman asked the question of the day. What's just something that irks you?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's my something that irks me is terrible music that is created in the year of our Lord.
You did say you have a lot.
I have a lot, so I can sift through the weeds and find something. What's something that irks you? You can text in on our phone lines driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, 615-737-1025. You can call. We'll get to you. We want to hear your answers coming up next on 4's Company, 1025, 1063 The Game. 4's Company brought to you by LPL Financial Nashville and Patrick Conger. Wealth management advice for you, no matter your current situation or stage in life. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, taking you through the weekend, mostly Saturday, but it is a weekend show. Before we get into our question of the day, what is something that irks you? I want to tell you to tune in today to 102 on the Ville for Vanderbilt baseball as the Commodores host St. Mary's. Pregame begins at 12:45 p.m. and first pitch is at 1 p.m. Coverage also available on the 1021 The Ville app and the 1021theville.com. So as I mentioned before, I did that awesome read, which you should go tune into Vanderbilt baseball. Good. Andrew Allegretta does a great job on the call. Just what's something that irks you? I've got a few. I got to really think about the main one. But Jake Wallman, you asked the question. What's something that just grinds your gears?
So
what you thinking?
I have a lot of experience in customer service.
Oh,
Yeah, I worked at Publix in college.
Okay.
My first job out of high school was at a grocery store. And the one thing that I can't stand seeing when I go shopping is carts, buggies in the back of the parking lot.
Oh,
It irks me to no end.
yeah.
And every time I have a buggy, and I'm not doing this to brag about me, I'm just saying every time I have a buggy, I make sure I put it up.
Good on you, man.
I do that too.
It just
Because I worked in customer service too. I worked at a movie theater before I got here. My thing was, people that just leave their trash in their seats.
Yeah.
that's the worst.
Like, just clean it up. How hard is it to take your popcorn bucket to a trash 10 feet away from you and throw it away?
Usually it's like the only thing you're carrying too.
Preach
You
that
may
little
have a
louder,
jacket.
Connor.
You
Please
may have
preach
a
that a
jacket,
little
but-
louder.
I mean, it's the people that are like, the mentality is like, well, they're doing their jobs. It's not my job to clean up your, I mean, it is, but
still,
it's the principle of, just
clean up after
It's
yourself.
called being a good person,
Yeah.
and it's free.
the Bible teaches us the golden rule: treat others as you'd want to be treated. If I came into your house and just left, popcorn everywhere, how would you feel?
Yeah. I would be pretty angry.
Yeah.
I know how this feels.
That's not my main one. He just reminded me of that.
Yeah.
But to speak on my point a little bit more before you guys answer, like you got to think about these bag boys, bag girls.
What you gonna do?
When they come for you.
They I mean, you don't know the type of day they've had, and like when they come out to get a cart, and they see that cart at the end of the park. I mean, it's in the furthest spot of the parking lot.
Yeah.
It's just deflating.
All the way in the back.
It's just deflating.
Can't believe I got to drive all the way to work on a Saturday.
Yes.
Cuts through all traffic.
And plus you're probably picking up, 10 or 11 carts on your way back out of the cart corral.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And it's, I don't know. It's just like, come on, man.
Is that what it's called? The cart corral?
It is. I believe so. That's
Cart
what I've called
corral?
Man, I need to grab a saddle.
I just called it the thing. Like,
the thing.
go put it in the thing.
A cart corral.
it.
Really?
Cart corral, kind of like the OK corral.
Okay. I'm gonna have to
Golden Corral.
I'm gonna have
Yes.
to remember that. Cart corral.
The cart corral. So Jake Wellman hates when you go to his beloved grocery store and just clean up your mess.
If you ever own a grocery store, Jake Wallman, I'll make sure to push my buggy inside the
I
cart.
appreciate
I hope you
it.
buy a local Quickie Mart. I really do.
Who needs the Quickie Mart?
I don't know. It's a great question. What do you got, Connor? Besides your rant there.
Oh, I think one thing that really makes me mad is when you go really anywhere in public and it's crowded. I experienced this at Rupp Arena a couple weeks ago when you're walking and then the people in front of you just stop and start talking to someone. And you're like, hello?
Yeah.
Or they walk at like a slow pace that I understand old people kind of move on a slower pace, but it's the people that just walk. Oh, the other one that really makes me mad. If you're in public and you're shopping and these people have someone on FaceTime on full volume, just put in AirPods, brother.
Yes.
I don't want to listen to your conversation.
I don't want to know who has a toe infection.
I don't care. I don't want to hear how
I got another
your
one that
job
you just
is
reminded
going.
me of
Yeah.
too.
I'm just coming up with these as we're going.
hits
'cause
you.
It hits you. Like,
I'll say a few of them that more pet peeves and really bothers me. But like when you go out to dinner and you sit down and you're in a party of 4 and there's a party of 6 behind you at another table. And they got there after you and they get their food and drinks before you.
Yep.
That blows my mind. That's what makes me extremely upset. That bothers me to no end. And then this also happened last night as well. I mean, all this didn't happen last night, but it just so happens.
You had a night.
Oh, not really. I just went out to get Mexican food. But like after you leave to go home and it's dark outside, and I was sitting in the car with my brother.
Yes.
And we're at a stoplight. And there are people with their brights on in a small little town. To me, I believe that's illegal. You're not supposed to have your brights on in a small town. I believe that's.
Is it? Is that true?
I think so. Don't quote me on it. You're not supposed to have your brights on in like a congested area. But this guy, my brother's, that's his autos. I'm like, no, flash at him. This is ridiculous. I'm not a aggressive driver. It's nothing.
No, I'm not either.
It's the principle of having a driver etiquette. If you're on the other side of a 4-way stop and that person's directly at you at a stoplight and they got their brights on, buddy, I wear glasses. You know what this is like when it flares into your eyes.
I do too.
Especially you. All y'all know what I'm talking about. It flares into your glasses. You can't see. Then you're seeing blue dots everywhere for the rest of the ride. I don't appreciate
It's
that.
the people too. This happens mostly on the interstate when you're driving and like a truck pulls up behind you and they just flash their brights on you in your mirror.
Yeah.
Bounces off your mirror into your eye. I'm like, dude, I cannot see.
And you're driving like this.
That makes me slow down.
Yeah, it does.
I mean, you want me to go faster? Turn your brights off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, what sucks is if I were to get in an accident because of that, who would be paying? Probably me.
Yeah. Because
unless they hit me from the rear.
Yeah.
Which there have been times where I've contemplated if someone's pissing me off from the back, just slamming on the brakes, and
it's possible. It's very possible. And I think this is a wrap up my whole rendition of this. I just say use a turn signal.
Please.
I am upset about this to no end. It actually caused an accident where I no longer have a car. Somebody did not use a turn signal and swerved in front of me.
Please.
So that's what really bothers.
How hard is it?
Exactly.
It's one button.
And all you got to do is just hit the little thing.
It turns itself off.
It does. Once you turn the steering wheel a certain amount, you're done. It goes away. So just use a turn signal.
It's not that hard.
No, it's not.
Another thing that makes me mad, this is more of a college thing I've picked up on. So we have, you can order your food from Grubhub.
Oh.
And mostly with Chick-fil-A, they have this big screen and it shows your order numbers.
Okay.
What makes me mad is when I order my food, say the order is number 642. 641 gets theirs. I'm like, okay, I'm next. Then I see 643 gets theirs. 44, 45, 46, 47.
I'm walking out.
I'm sitting there waiting, just going, just a sandwich, bub. It's all I need.
Sandwich and a soft drink.
Sandwich and a sweet tea, brother. Nevada Josh again on our text line says, what bothers me is being in a public restroom and seeing someone coming out of a pooper stall and not wash his hands, especially if it's somewhere that serves food. Even more setting if it's an employee. Absolutely. I've been in, it's mostly fast food. I've been in restaurants where, they use the stall and then wash their hands. How many more of you are just not going to wash your hands?
Yeah.
Is that a thing?
Yeah,
We're just not doing that?
Pretty gross.
That happened at school.
Really?
At Subway. I'm like, I don't care if you're wearing gloves.
You're supposed to eat fresh and be fresh.
Be fresh.
Come on now.
We have a caller on our phone line.
Is this
driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com? Is this who I think it is? Is this the great and powerful Jake Lyman?
Jake?
Who knows?
Oh,
no way. How about it?
Hello, Jake.
Hi, guys. I just wanted to jump in. Love the show. First, long-time listener, first-time caller.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump in on something that irks me. You guys were talking about all the things on the road, and people who don't know the rules of roundabouts. That is what really grinds my gears.
Yeah. They just stop. They don't know which way to go.
Anybody who stops while they're in the roundabout or just jumps out in front of people, I will never understand how people don't get how it works. But yeah, I just wanted to call in and drop my thoughts in there because you guys were putting out some really good ones.
Hey, well, you got a thing tomorrow, don't you? Over on 94.9 The Fan.
We do, yeah. South Carolina's in town. Big one.
Big one.
Sunday national. I am on my way to Vandy right now. Going to be calling some baseball today too.
still.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Like that.
Look at that. Jake Lyman,
Yeah.
the jack of all
We love it.
trades. Well, we love you, buddy. We miss you.
We do miss you.
Love you guys too. Great show. I'll be back next week.
Take some
All right.
infield for us.
Yeah. Don't be afraid to catch a fly ball or two.
I'll do my best.
Jake Lyman.
You guys.
Jake Lyman on our phone line. Driven by Wilson County Hyundai.
Glad he called in.
I'm glad.
When I saw Jake, and I was like,
I saw Jake. I was like, is this our
I
Jake?
feel kind of bad because I didn't hear his name at first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is this?
Gotta
Can you
recognize
can
who
you
this
repeat
is.
that one more time?
This is Ronald. We got another caller on our phone line. Eric wants to weigh in on what irks him. Eric, what's up, my man?
Guys, this is something I hate to mention, but unfortunately, this has become more commonplace, and it is a sad commentary on our society. The fact that people do not flush the toilet before you when they go to the bathroom. I've run into that a lot more lately, and that is so sad. That is just a simple thing. All you got to do is hit the handle. And the fact that people don't do that, it is ridiculous and disgusting, guys. I just don't get it. It's like, well, how were you raised? It's just, but that's mine, guys. Y'all take care, and we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, Eric.
Appreciate it, Eric.
It's-
Amen.
It's usually twofold, too, because those are the people that don't wash their hands.
yeah. It's
Undisciplined.
just double whammy.
That's undisciplined behavior.
It's gross.
I think my OCD has kicked in to the point of being young. Like when I was a little kid, we were always told, you do your ABCs while you wash your hands. Now, if I go to the bathroom, like if I use a porta potty or something and I don't wash my hands, I feel wrong the rest of the day.
You got to carry some hand
I feel-
sanitizer with you.
I feel dirty. That's still not enough for me.
You're never going to catch me at a porta potty. And if you do, you get a picture of it. Congratulations. And frame it on
I
your
do
wall,
if
but
it's-
that's not happening.
I
don't
do
know
if
if
it's an
I'll do that.
emergency because I have very, very small bowels.
I have one more before we get
Yeah,
a
go
break.
ahead.
Connor was mentioning, talking about people sharing their open conversations in public.
Mhm.
People that will have a phone call, and it's not just a phone call, but it's the phone call on the speakerphone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I didn't. I guess I didn't catch it.
Yeah.
I mean, just like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
AirPods. That's all you got to do.
You want me to hear your conversation about whatever?
I got a new toenail fungus, Jerry.
I'll
Golly,
pass.
man.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I'll pass
We'll
it.
get to more of these coming up next in the break, or we're headed to break.
Yeah. Well, on the other side of the break.
We will not. We want to read them on the air, not just on the break. We will get to more of these. You can still call in 615-737-1025. What irks you? What's something that drives you crazy? But coming up next, I teased it earlier in the show. The Four Nations tournament is over. What a massive success for the NHL.
Wonderful.
So what are they doing right compared to a certain other league whose all-star game sucked? That's up next. 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Ryan started the fire. 4's Company, broadcasting from the Busy Bee Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning Game Nashville Studios, home of the $99 yearly Beehive membership, where the buzz is always about great service. Hey, before we get into the next topic, tune into 102.5, 106.3 The Game today for Vanderbilt's men's basketball as the Commodores take on Ole Miss at Memorial Gym with a 2:30 p.m. tip-off, and the pregame show starts at 2 p.m. Vanderbilt men's basketball, presented by Athletes Unlimited Pro Basketball, coming to Nashville's Municipal Auditorium through March 2nd. Go to uprobasketball.com for more details and to purchase tickets. That was a weird read.
Take care of business today, Vandy.
Take care of business.
Get rid of T-Sun.
Not an Ole Miss fan over here. I wonder why. In our last segment, we asked question of the day. What is something that irks you? We've got a couple answers I want to get to. William from Antioch on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, says people at gas stations buying Powerball lottery tickets during morning rush hour. That's something I don't really relate to. I guess I legally could buy a lottery ticket now.
Yeah, you can.
I haven't done it.
So wait a minute. Read that again.
People that buy Powerball or lottery tickets during morning rush hour.
So it sounds like he's in bumper-to-bumper traffic, and he's mad at the people that turn into gas stations to buy a lottery ticket.
Or he's going to a gas station.
Oh, and it's backed up to.
I think that's what it is. Like he's trying to get gas in the morning.
Yeah, hey, let me get 20 on pump 4. And the guy in front of him is just, let me get the latest Powerball. Can I scratch it right here?
Oh, I thought they have kiosks now. Some places have kiosks.
Some
where you
places
just
do.
pump them in. All right. Okay, well, that's fair. That's fair.
Wes in Hermitage on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Wes, what's up?
Morning, guys. Happy Saturday. How y'all doing?
Good. Happy Saturday to you.
Man, it's always the most irking things are always the most easy and simple things to correct, right?
Oh, yeah. 100%.
So I don't know, but it seems like in society over like the last 3 to 5 years, people don't know how to say, excuse me. And it's like if you're in the grocery store and, we all need bread. We all need milk. Sometimes we have to reach for the same door at the same time. Just a simple, oh, hey, sorry. Oh, excuse me. Let me, I'm just grabbing milk here. Just open your mouth and speak. That's all I ask. That's it.
Yeah. Be an adult. I mean, come on. Have some manners.
Exactly.
Have some manners. We have these
Appreciate it,
words
guys.
in place.
Thanks, Wes.
Thank you, Wes. We have these words in place to be respectful.
Yeah.
People aren't respectful nowadays.
People have these little smartphones that are now the pacifier to people's mouths, unfortunately.
Apparently, we can all read thoughts.
Yeah.
He just reminded me of one before we get into what I really want to talk about.
Smacking food is
food is bad.
I can't do it. One of my best friends, Landon, we talk about this all the time throughout grade school, high school, college, whatever. People that sit behind you that are just snacking and they're munching, you hear the no.
Oh, what did I tell you? People that are wearing shorts in public in weather like this.
Enough.
There's always that one guy.
There's that one guy that thinks I went into a store the other day. This guy had a tank top on, and then he had a vest zipped over it. So he was like sleeveless lumberjack.
Yeah,
guy.
I'm from New Jersey. I'm normal. This
is
usual.
nothing to us.
This is summer.
From Winnipeg. I'm like, come on, man. Like, this is winter.
Be
this
a human being. Just put some pants on.
Put on your damn pants.
I don't want to see anybody in their boxers. I'm sorry. That's public indecency.
Almost said 4's Company. 4 Nations 4's
Stadium Pulse.
Stadium Pulse.
I can't get it out.
It's loud.
4 Nations face off came to a close Thursday. Canada unfortunately knocked off our great American heroes 3-2 in overtime. McDavid wide open in the slot. Just a bad play.
Great goal, though.
Great goal and a great tournament. Yeah. Just a great, fun thing. Jared, I think, said this on Twitter, and Chase echoed it. I'm going to re-echo it. 2 weeks ago, I didn't care about this tournament. Mm-hmm. I saw it as a break from work. I don't have to come in and produce a Preds game. Now we're back in action tonight. Can't wait. But this is fun. Never do an all-star game again. This is fun.
I like it. I really do like the product. I think the NHL has figured out where they can tap into not other markets, but they can tap into the average fan of hockey that really loves the aspect of fighting. Because I believe in international hockey, you're not allowed to fight. And now that
Yeah.
you're using NHL rules with international rosters, people are like, this is the best of both worlds.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, to me, it had the vibe of WWE promo aspect of
Yeah.
it. The fights against Canada versus USA in that game, and then leading up to the Four Nations Championship. Let's do this thing. We're at WrestleMania of hockey.
I think a lot of it was for the non-hockey fans. There were people going, hey, my country is playing today.
Mm-hmm.
They're representing my country. I'm going to tune in and watch. And then you see hockey and you see, what was it? 3 fights in the span of 9 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, this is awesome. And I think that'll help grow the game a little bit to where for us locally, people are going to, as bad as the Preds are, hey, I'll tune into this because it's an enjoyable game. At least they play fair. They play tough. It's just, I don't know. On the other side, the NBA had maybe the worst All-Star weekend of all time. I didn't watch a second of it.
I heard about the Wembanyama, Chris Paul, like not shooting baskets into the basket.
They don't care.
They're going for time or something. That's all I heard about.
They don't care. And that's kind of sparked a debate of, has the NHL overtaken the NBA in terms of popularity? Because the All-Star game is kind of a testament to how your league is run.
Mm-hmm.
When the NHL is going out there busting their ass, playing,
meaningful
hockey, and it was 4 games?
Yeah.
And the NBA, your quote face of the NBA, LeBron James, won't even play because his ankle is sore.
Right.
I think that says a lot. And I think that says a lot to a close friend of ours locally here in Nashville. PK Subban went on Get Up the other day and was asked, why does the Four Nations tournament work? He gave a really, really interesting answer. Here's what he had to say.
The NBA has that issue that they got to work on. You got to create a better culture for your players. It starts with the leaders. This issue, there was no issue when Jordan was around. There was no issue when Kobe was around. There's no issue when Sidney Crosby is around. There's no issue when Wayne Gretzky was around, because those are true leaders. They lead by example. Sidney Crosby, Hockey Canada, those players, both Canada and U.S., it was the players that did that for the Four Nations. It's not the league. The league set it up, but the players went out there and decided and said, you know what, boys? We're all in. When is the NBA going to do that? Because, I haven't sat down and watched the NBA consistently since Kobe. Since Kobe has died, I have not sat down and watched the NBA consistently. I love basketball, love the players. I think LeBron's great. I think KD's great. Steph Curry, love watching them. But you got to be on the court. You got to be there. And when you're there, you got to go all in. The fans got to feel that they're getting their money's worth. And right now, there's a big difference between what the NHL's doing with those events and what the NBA's doing. Four Nations works because the players are all in.
That last line is what culminates the entire statement for me. Four Nations works because the players are all in. Frazier, who's your favorite NBA player?
No longer is playing, but it was Carmelo Anthony.
Well, if Carmelo Anthony was today and I said we're going to a New York Knicks game, guess who's probably not playing due to load management?
Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah. Whereas, hey, hello, Windows. Whereas in the NHL, I think I said this earlier, the Preds are bottom of the league. Yeah. How many of them are resting? Is Philip Forsberg sitting on the bench because he's tired?
No,
he's going out there and playing meaningful hockey. Steven Stamkos has had a down year, and he's out there playing meaningful hockey because the Preds are trying to prove something that we are going to give this all we got, no matter how the outcome is, win or lose. We are going to play our absolute best, and that's something the NBA lacks.
I agree. And you look at the Preds, you made a great point about this. The Nashville Predators, yes, they're not having a great season this year, and they're still playing. You could say playing for pride, playing for their fans, whatever. Bingo. I just said it. Playing for the fans. And when you play for your fan base, you're going to have a buy-in, and they're still bought in. Those you're going to have your diehard fans, your Preds fans that are always going to be bought in. You're going to have your average Preds fans that are like, yeah, maybe I'm not going to this game, but I'm going to watch them on TV.
Yeah.
Those are the people you want to keep in the loop 24/7. And I think the NBA, yeah, you have your diehard fans of certain teams. Like I'm a Knicks fan, right? But I don't follow the NBA religiously. Yeah, the Knicks are pretty solid the last couple of years. I don't follow them on a day-to-day basis. I'm sorry. But as for the Nashville Predators, sure, it's inside the market that I'm in. I love watching hockey. I love every bit of it. Four Nations has rekindled that fire for me underneath that propane lighter that I'm able to watch. I want to be watching hockey every single week in and week out, night in and night out.
Go ahead, Connor.
I was going to say I am the definition of basketball guy. I'm the basketball guy on this show. I'm the basketball guy in this station with Joe Rexroad. I can't stand the NBA. I have never sat down. I haven't sat down, like PK said. I can't sit down consistently and watch it. I don't think I've watched over an hour of the NBA this combined.
Yeah.
I don't think I've put myself through it.
I was sitting down last night eating dinner, obviously, at a restaurant, and they had NBA on. It was actually the Knicks and the Cleveland, what you call it? The
Cavaliers.
Cleveland Cavaliers, Guardians, excuse me. Cleveland Cavaliers. You know what the final score was?
Probably 140 to 130.
142 to 106.
That's ridiculous.
To me, yeah, that's cool. It's high scoring. Where is the actual action in the game? I mean, sure, there's probably some cool dunks, some good threes and stuff, but that just – and people are going to say, well, the defense. People would probably disagree. There is defense. Well, to a certain degree. If you're scoring 142 points, I don't think there's much defense going on. I'm sorry.
We will continue this conversation coming up next. Plus, we will revisit the question of the day. It's been a popular one today. Carl, hang on the line with us, please. We will get to your call coming up next on 4's Company 102.5, 106.3 The Game.
It's not smart basketball no more. I saw a clip not too long ago where Kobe said, like, yo, it's accidental basketball. And he couldn't have been more right. It was so refreshing to play against Bron because every possession is like a chess match. But you don't just get that on a regular basis. It's just who can run faster, who can hit more threes. It's no substance. And so I think it's very boring.
There you go. That was Draymond Green talking about the brand of NBA basketball that he plays in.
Wow.
He says it's boring.
That's the first time I've heard that clip.
That's a great clip. I heard that the other day and I was like, wow, that is so telling.
And that's one of the more polarizing players in NBA basketball. And I'd say
in history, that's a former All-Star.
Yeah.
Talking about how this brand of basketball, I like that he says, playing against LeBron is a chess match when he actually cares.
Right.
Which is not often.
To me, I think the NBA, and I was telling you this in the break, is catering to a different audience than the United States.
Yeah.
I think they're catering to audiences outside the 50 states of the United States of America. I believe that the NBA is, I don't think they're developing their talents well, if that makes sense. You're going to get, I look at it like this. The NBA draft, you're going to get probably, I'd say less than 20% of those guys playing in the NBA for that year. They're drafted at the top level. The rest of them are going to a G League team or just some sort of feeder league. And to me, like, where are those guys now? If they don't make it in the G League, like, obviously we get LeBron James' son, Bronny.
Guangdong Tigers.
Yeah, that too.
Shanghai Sharks.
They're all over there.
Yeah.
And so it makes me wonder, is the NBA really developing good talent? Like, yeah, before the NBA did the whole rule of you can't be draft eligible right out of high school, you have to go to college. Like, I wonder if they should go back to the high school thing, because maybe that's where the talent is, and maybe those guys get deteriorated when they go from high school to, college. And maybe those 2-3 years with the NIL, it's starting to saturate. You're going to see more people staying in college. I don't know. Maybe that's where the product is staying. Maybe it's in college. I just don't understand where the NBA is trying to go with their product. Are they really listening to their American audience, or are they actually just listening to audiences outside of America? I don't get it.
Let me call timeout on this conversation really quick.
Okay.
Because we have a caller on our phone line driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com that wants to get into the question of the day. What's something that irks you? Maybe it's the NBA. Carl is on our phone line. Hey, Carl, what's up?
Hey, guys. I enjoy your show. I'm over at Murphy Center running inside, and I listen to you on Saturday mornings. Here's the thing that irks me. There's several, but I'm going to give you the top one. People who think they're the smartest person in the room, okay? I got a family member like that. There's a radio talk show host that comes on in the afternoon. I have yet to ever hear him say, well, you know what? I was wrong about that. But, yeah, there's certain people that they're never wrong, and it irks me. I normally don't speak up against them because I want to keep a good relationship. But, yeah, people that are never wrong. Thanks, guys. Enjoy your show.
Thank you, Carl. Get that run in, man.
Yeah,
you're in Coach Newt's house right now.
Yeah,
that's my house.
And I'll say this: he didn't mention like the afternoon host, Jared. I think Jared has mentioned before that
Jared
he's been wrong.
Jared is one that will admit he's wrong when he knows he's wrong.
Yeah, he's mentioned before he's been wrong.
But there are people out there that don't.
Yeah,
and my advice to those people is they're digging their own graves.
Yeah,
you're bound to get buried. Someone will find something on you.
Take the steak off the grill for a little bit. Let it cool off. Let it simmer. You know what I mean?
I want a steak now.
Yeah, it does sound pretty good. Marinate it.
Back to our NBA conversation. Texter on our text line says, you can't watch the NBA anymore because they're a bunch of overpaid pansies that fall anytime you touch them, flop around like a fish out of water. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know who started that? LeBron.
Yeah.
LeBron is the one who started that.
It's transitioned. He's evolved the game of basketball to cater towards.
And I hate to say it, some of it is bleeding towards college basketball because you see a lot of these young kids that look up to these NBA players.
Yeah.
And say, I'll play like that. Works for LeBron. Maybe it'll work for me. The one that really comes to mind, Chad Baker-Mazara for Auburn. He is the one that anytime he makes a mistake, he's conveniently hurt. The other day against Arkansas, he scored, flashed his jersey, got teed up, and then throws his hands up in the air. I didn't do anything.
Did you see his response to that?
I saw him tweet. They call him. He said, like, they'll just call me for anything now. I'm like,
dude, I mean, I get it. It's one thing if you hit a shot like that and you didn't do anything or, but like, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Awareness level 0.
Yeah. I mean, just
you bring it upon yourself.
And that's the NBA mentality. That's what these guys are victims. They are victims of the system. And I think that's part of the problem with the NBA is your commissioner lets the players run the league.
Yeah, it's fair.
The commissioner has no backbone. Gary Bettman, I think that dude's got backbone. I think he's a good commissioner. Roger Goodell, he has his faults, but I think he's a good backbone commissioner.
He's handled the logistics of the NFL decently.
He has.
Yeah.
Rob Manfred,
I can't be on the boat with Manfred.
Yeah.
No, I'm not either. But I think the good outweighs the bad in terms of commissioners. Nevada Josh is really chiming in today. He says, I love Shaq, but I remember when Shaq was out because he had a hurt toe. I understand his toe is probably bigger than my entire foot, but still that was funny, especially when you have hockey players taking pucks to the face and still playing. Who took a puck to the face the other day for Team USA?
Oh.
Was it Jake Gensel?
It may have been. I'll look it up for you as we're on.
To kind of go off what you guys were talking about last segment about the fan buy-in with the NHL versus the NBA. I remember when I was in college and when the Preds were on that Stanley Cup final run, Knoxville went absolutely bananas for the Preds. I mean, yeah. And Knoxville, they have, and I think it's an AHL team or ECHL team.
Ice Bears.
Ice Bears, baby.
Yeah.
I frequented an Ice Bears game or two in my time up there.
Oh,
but anyways, they have that NHL or that hockey presence kind of, but like when the Preds were on that run, it's like Preds fans just came out of the woodwork up there.
Yeah.
And they started holding watch parties in Market Square. And I mean, it was bananas.
It's fun. I remember I was in middle school when the Preds went on the Stanley Cup.
That's weird.
It is weird. I think what was it, 17? I was in the 7th grade.
Holy cow. I was a senior in high school.
I was in the
a
7th grade.
junior in college. So you guys are making me feel really old.
But I remember vividly watching every game. I remember vividly they would let us get out. I went to private Catholic school, so we wore uniforms.
Yeah.
They would let us get out of uniform and wear gold.
Hey, all right.
Rep the
nice.
On Preds game days. Hey, rep the Preds. I think they let us out early one day because the Preds played and it was at home. They wanted people that were going to
go party.
Good
get
for
on
them.
get on down there.
Heck yes.
It was a fun time. That was when I really remember first starting to get into hockey.
But yeah, like that's you just kind of give that point. Like Knoxville, a city that's just so engrossed with the Vols, and then you got a mixture of Braves and Reds fans, Titans, Panthers, Falcons. I guess maybe the Hawks, not really the Grizzlies.
Yeah,
you just don't think hockey would really buy in up there, and it went bananas.
Yeah,
and so like I just think that hockey plays to people a lot easier.
It does. And I we're talking about Four Nations to begin this whole conversation. I think the Four Nations has kindled everybody's attention back into hockey because of the aspect of patriotism and just being a United States citizen, especially just the advertisement of it all. It's on regular Channel 2 for some people that have regular cable television for ABC. Like it's to everybody. You know what I mean? Like when the Preds have experienced doing games on local channel 5, I believe it is.
Yeah.
And they did the Preds games that way. Like probably had
people
a lot
are
more,
watching.
Yeah. A lot more people intrigued in the game.
Texters all over me because I said NBA players are victims. Look at Jimmy Butler. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Jimmy Butler whined his way out of Miami, gets traded to Golden State.
Has he played?
He's played.
Okay.
He crapped his pants one time.
Oh.
Like, I'm not even kidding.
Is that true?
I don't know. They showed a close-up of him, of his white shorts with brown stains on him in the rear. I was like, well, we may have a Ray Allen situation. Or was it Paul Pierce?
Not be sitting on chocolate bars. John.
No.
Did you ever see Diary of a Wimpy Kid as a kid?
No,
I watched, I think, the first one.
There was a scene where they go to church and he's sitting in the back seat and he has a baby brother.
Oh.
The baby brother eats a chocolate bar and throws it in the back seat behind him. He sits on it.
Yeesh.
All over the cacks. He's got to wear his mom's sweater. That's where that meme of Rally comes from, where he looks up and then he looks down.
Bless his heart.
Bless his heart.
Yeah.
Do y'all remember when I think it was Lamar?
Yeah, he had to go off and he was on the sideline and they carted him off. That was Paul Pierce in the NBA Finals in 2009, the year they won him. He had to do it. So
Oh, man.
they carted him off.
Man,
that
about
sucks.
I can relate to that. I have irritable bowel syndrome. But back to the conversation. I mean, I think PK Subban laid it out best. These players are all in. The NBA, I don't think they're definitely not all in on their All-Star game. I don't think they're all in on their league.
I think this is my last statement I'm going to make about the NBA. I think they have a solid, I guess, I'm not backtracking at all. I'm just saying they have a solid product. I don't think they don't know how to capitalize on it. I think that's the best way to describe.
I think that's a testament to leadership.
Right.
I think it is.
I think that goes to the I guess league.
I think they're desperate to try everything they can to get people to watch. That's why you had a new All-Star format. Yeah. That's why you got this in-season tournament. They want everything they can to get you to watch, and it's just not working.
Yeah.
Because this is ultimately what it boils down to. This is lazy basketball.
Church league.
Church. CYO. What is diocesan league?
Yeah, that too. Hey, don't knock it. Don't knock it.
I was a baller in the diocese. Actually, my mom just sent me pictures of me playing basketball from like 7 years ago.
Hey,
I'll show you in the break.
Please do.
I was a stretch 4. I was pretty badass.
Well, we got some basketball coming up. We got some picks to make, don't we?
We do have some picks to make. Vanderbilt playing today. Tennessee playing today. Preds back in action.
Nashville SC tonight.
Yeah. I forgot to mention Nashville SC.
That's fine. I'll get my input on that in the last break.
Yeah, that's a good product too.
Yeah.
The MLS. I'm a fan of the MLS.
People are going to be surprised with NSC this year.
Oh, yeah. They've reloaded, it seems. Picks coming up next. We'll give you your best bets coming up next here on 4's Company, 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Creed. I'm not a big Creed guy, but
buddy,
this song and One Last Breath.
I love Creed. They're
Get
great.
me going.
We got to get them back on the Thanksgiving halftime show schedule.
Super Bowl, buddy. No, Super Bowl halftime show. That's what needs to happen.
I'm just saying, if I ever see Post Malone sing with Nirvana again, I may throw my remote at the TV.
Well, it's possible.
It was terrible.
Oh, I heard he did a good job.
It was terrible.
Some people liked it.
Some liked it. I personally don't think that band should ever be touched again.
It's true.
Not without Kurt. Picks time.
Yes.
I've got, what do I have written down? 3 picks. I can throw in a 4th one. We got time.
Yeah.
Let's start with Preds in action tonight here on 102.5 The Game. Pre-game starting at 5 o'clock with Max Hers over at Barrel House in Bridgestone Arena. Puck drop, of course, at 6 with the great Pete Weber and Jay Moore returning on the call. Where are we going on this one, fellas? First game back from the Four Nations.
I think the Preds come out guns a-blazing. Obviously, they got some injuries. By the way, game starts at 5 tonight.
Does it?
Yeah, so pregame would be 4, I believe.
Then why am I scheduled to be here at 4?
I don't know. Hey, different day. I don't know.
It's a good thing you
Anyways,
mentioned that, Frazier.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah,
I would have showed up right at
I don't know.
pregame.
I think the Preds, there's something about this team. Yeah, they got some guys put on the IR. You know, you're going to see maybe some weird hockey for the most part. But I think the Preds are going to come out winning, coming out strong. I think this is going to be more of a 3-2 type game, maybe 4-2. I would like to have a free Frosty. That's just something to end my nightcap with.
So does Brent Peterson.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going with that. Preds to win 4-2.
Jake Wallman, Preds, Avs in action.
I like the idea of the Preds coming off Four Nations break, a little bit more rejuvenated. And then of course, not every Pred was, on the break. Philip Forsberg and UC, still got that.
Gus Nyquist.
Gus Nyquist is another one. Still didn't take that 2-week break. So I like the Preds. I'm going to say Preds 2, Avs 1.
Okay.
Okay. Wow.
Connor Newt.
Big upset. I'm going to ruin the party.
Oh.
I like the fact that the Avs' 2 best players are coming back after playing from Team Canada. They're probably tired.
Right.
That being Cale Makar and Nathan McKinnon.
Mm-hmm.
Preds have had a little bit more time off. Their guys coming back. Of course, that was Gus Nyquist, Philip Forsberg, UC Saros. But I think the Avs are just the better team. The Preds don't match up well. I like a Gus Nyquist goal tonight, though.
Ooh.
Because I think this is the end of the Gus Nyquist era in Nashville.
Gus Bus going out.
I think he's going to help that draft stock, that trade value a little bit. Maybe squeeze a little first-round pick out for him.
Oh.
That's wishful thinking.
Well, yeah.
But I think the Avs get it done 3-1.
Okay.
Wallman's going to love this. Tennessee at Texas A&M. Big-time matchup today. Number 5 versus what's A&M's ranking? I'm blanking on them.
They are 7.
7.
Yeah.
Wow.
Let's not forget
In
that
College Station.
Yep.
A&M coming off a Mississippi State loss. They got beat by close to 30.
Yeah.
Tennessee did not have a midweek game. We'll start with Nick Frazier. I know where he's going.
Hey, Jake Wallman.
Hey, Frazier. What's up, buddy?
Taking A&M. A&M by about 5 to 7 points.
Don't pick us.
5 to 10 points. Yeah, let's go that way.
He said, "Don't let us get one." Jake Wallman. I think I know what you're.
I think that the break helped this team. They played a lot of Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday games. On a good stretch for probably the last month and a half. I like the Vols. It seems like every time we play Texas A&M, it's a big game. And then, of course, the last time they played, Buzz Williams was on the court. And some say he's still out there. So
that's every game.
Okay.
Buzz finds his way out to the half-court line just about every game. I'm going to go A&M here. I think that Mississippi State loss pissed them off royally.
Yeah.
And playing at home in front of your crowd.
It woke the beast.
Hopefully they play in those awful jerseys too, so it just makes them even more mad every time they look at them. I think Wade Taylor has a big day. Wade Taylor shows up for big games like this. I think he could drop 25 to 30.
Oh my!
I think it's a big day for him. I think A&M wins by 8 to 10.
Yeah, that sounds about right. I think that 1-10 margin is probably where it's going to be.
Now, the last time they played in College Station, these two teams, A&M blew them out. So
yeah, it's certainly an interesting game. I think this shakes up the SEC a little bit.
Yeah.
Over in the Mid-State, Vanderbilt and Ole Miss coming over to Memorial Gymnasium. I don't have the line in front of me, but I would assume Ole Miss is probably favored.
Probably so.
Ole Miss is number 24. Frazier, Doors or Rebs?
I'm going to go Vanderbilt. I think Vanderbilt's showing some strong push here, cut that 3-game losing streak out, and get a win, get a green W on their list.
Green W.
Yep. And my wild card, I'm going to go with Nashville SC tonight. I think Nashville SC wins. It's going to be an odd matchup for them because, they got some guys out. Brian Acosta, midfielder's out. Gaston Brugman, I believe BJ Callahan said at the end of the preseason that he's the longest one out from injury. So that'll be interesting. Then Yazbek, I think, is questionable. He was talking about that in the presser as well. So that's a key piece to their midfield that needs to be ready to go tonight. So this will be interesting. It'll be close. You know what? Not 2-1. I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0.
2-0.
Yeah. I'm going to go a nice little shutout.
I love that we can use nil now when we talk about soccer. It's pronounced soccer, not football.
Yeah. I agree.
Nashville SC in action, of course, tonight over at Geodis Park against New England.
That's correct. New England Revolution. So I'm intrigued to see how this offense plays with BJ Callahan
too.
I know, right?
New England Revolution.
Robert Kraft owns the team.
Does he?
Yeah.
Wow. Vanderbilt. It's going to be such a close matchup. It's two good coaches. I'm going to go Ole Miss to pull it out. I think Chris Beard just has more firepower. Malik Dia, bit of a homecoming game for him of sorts. He's from Nashville. Yeah. Played at Belmont. But I think Ole Miss pulls this one out pretty closely. I think they win by 3 or 4. If we're doing wild cards, give me my Wildcats to upset Alabama over in Tuscaloosa. They are outmatched heavily, missing Lamont Butler, Jackson Robinson, and Kirk Kriza. But the way they played the other day in Rupp Arena against Vanderbilt, they play like that every game and beat everyone in the country.
I agree.
I think such a shot in the dark because it's not going to happen. But I think Kentucky can get it done today against the Crimson Tide. Jake Wallman, wrap us up with Vanderbilt and Ole Miss and your wild card.
Vanderbilt is actually a -1 favorite.
Oh, wow.
1 point dog or 1 point favorite at home. Memorial Magic, I think, plays a part today. Give me the Doors. And my wild card, I'm going to go down to the Borough. MTSU hosting Sam Houston State, 4.5 point favorite. Close game. MTSU won by 2 last time on the road. I think the Blue Raiders get it done, get that 18th win.
Will Sam Houston be in the building himself?
No, he won't.
Oh, probably tending to the people of Mexico.
Yeah.
That'll do it for us here. Connor Newt, Nick Frazier, wrapping you up here in 4's Company. Jake Wallman, of course, behind the glass. Stay tuned, though. Vanderbilt basketball coming up against Ole Miss. Preds in action against the Avalanche starting at 4, not 5. I was wrong there. But for us, we've been 4's Company. We'll see you next week here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game. Peace.